Hey guys, welcome back to Formers Friday here on the Pop Culture Network. Now today we're going to be talking about something that a lot of you, I think, initially are going to be resistant towards, but I think I can bring you around. We're talking bot shots. Now, I know a lot of you are going to go, Dirt, bot shots. Come on. You're going to look at me and you're going to say, those aren't even really Transformers. They're just tiny little one-trick things. They're spring-loaded to activate. How can you even consider those as Transformers? Well, listen, guys, it's simple. First of all, they transform. They're a vehicle, they turn into a robot, the end. But let me just take that a step further. You see, this is a Kofi Kingston action figure for the WWE. And a lot of people go, hey, those are nice-looking figures. They collect those figures. They are very, very popular. Whenever we do reviews of them, they go super high. This is a Kofi Kingston Rumbler action figure. This is also very well received, and whenever we do reviews of these, they are also very, very highly rated. Fans of this are not necessarily people who are against this. They understand that it is two different markets, two different scales, and two different types of toys for toy collectors out there. With that in mind, I humbly suggest that these are not replacements for your regular Transformers. This is a different line. It is something completely different, a different market, a different type of thing to collect. So guys, don't freak out that these are not real Transformers, because nobody's freaking out that these aren't real WWE characters. These do not replace these in the same way this is not going to replace your beloved Transformers. But if you open your mind and maybe open your heart, you'll see that this is something worth looking into. Bot shots come in an amazing array of characters, accessories, and packaging. In fact, you could almost do an entire episode just on the different ways that they're configured for consumers to purchase them. Luckily, though, I've got them all. And so today we're going to take a look at all the different bot shots that are available out there. Now, before we get too deep into it, it's probably worth answering the question, what are bot shots? Well, they are tiny little Transformers, as you can see here. And the gimmick behind them is that they can be used to play a game. And what you do to play this game is you take your two bot shots and you smash them together. As you can see, this one transformed, this one did not. I'm not actually, using a completely flat surface. There's some texture under here and I'm not pushing them hard. Blah, 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 blah. Regardless, when they pop open, you can see a symbol on their chest. And this symbol is used to battle. Now, kind of like paper, rock, scissors, certain symbols will immediately defeat the other symbols, so you can play it like paper, rock, scissors. As in this case, where they both have the same symbol on their chest, you look at the number. There's a small number printed next to the symbol, and whoever has the highest number wins. Now, they are not locked into whatever symbol's on their chest. Their chest actually rotates. There's a fist, there's a laser gun, and then there is the sword. So part of the strategy is like playing paper, rock, scissors, deciding which symbol you are going to have on their chest. And then if they match, it's kind of like the card game War. Whoever has the highest number, therefore, wins. Now, one other thing that they add to the rules that they try to enforce, I guess, if you're going to play like tournament-level bot shots, is that when they transform, they have to stand upright. If they transform like this, or the way he was on his side, then they automatically lose. However, I've found through a lot of play with my son that it's very difficult to get them to stand upright like that, so we don't really worry about that part of the rules. We just like to play. Now, your basic bot shot single pack comes in this type of blister on card packaging, which will have the name of the character, and it'll have their code number on the side. And then on the back, it kind of gives you a breakdown of the rules and how it's played, some of the other characters, and a nice little animated character portrait there. Now, besides the figure that comes inside of the package, you get one of these little instruction sheets. And this is the type of thing that you keep with the toys. It shows you the easiest way to transform them, and it also gives you the breakdown, once again, of the quick rules. So if you're playing and you kind of forget which beats which, you have that handy little code there. Plus, they have some neat ideas for trying to play more advanced versions of the game. That comes standard in every package. Now, originally, this piece was not in the package. This is something they've added, and this is for an online battle game, which you can see advertised here on the package. They have an online game at Hasbro.com, and in it, I'm going to cover up part of this number so no one else is trying to use it, but you get these points that you can use for characters that you play on there. There's some more information on the back. So the online game is a fun little thing that's just kind of additional that they've added, and gives you something else that you can do with the toys in the virtual realm, or if you're like me and you don't have any friends and no one wants to play with you. The other way to buy individual figures are the figures with launchers. Here you see the 4 launchers that they have released individually. You've got your Optimus Prime, Ironhide, Starscream, and Megatron. And launchers add an extra kind of level of fun to the whole idea of bot shots. Besides the fact that you're able to take Optimus Prime and give him a kick-ass trailer on the back, you can also take some of these characters like Starscream and give him this really kind of wacky spaceship-looking jet thing attachment. Megatron gets this super awesome tank attachment, and Ironhide, I don't know, is he the Butcher of Baghdad? What is this about? It's Jace and the Wheeled Warriors are now a part of Ironhide's team. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but they've added these to add an extra dimension to gameplay. Let's take a look at that. Now, the basic launcher comes with your character and the trailer attachment on the back. And you just kind of snap them off, and they become 2 different pieces. Now, your launcher here actually opens up and will have some sort of fold-out weapon idea. And basically, it clicks back into place. So then you can take your bot shot and set them on top, and by pressing either the button in the back or the button on top, you can launch your bot shot. And you can also bump into the camera, which makes it wobble, and that's always good for a video. Now, Optimus Prime's trailer does mimic his original toy in many ways. Granted, the shape on the outside is a little different, but it still has that basic color scheme. Plus, you get the little turret that pops up just like you did in the original, and it folds out much the same way that the classic one did. So, overall, I'm happy with that one. Now, Megatron here is in his kind of awkward tank form. Nonetheless, though, he pops off and folds up, and his launcher folds open this way. So you kind of get a playset sort of backdrop with these guns that fold out like this. Still works the same way, though. There's a switch in the back or the switch on top, which will then shoot him across the table to attack his enemies. Now, this Wheeled Warriors meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre Slaughterhouse for Ironhide doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it's still pretty cool. These actually rotate down and can be used just as part of the display if you really want to. But then just like all the others, he pops off and transforms, and you get this fold-open playset. Now, again, these buzzsaw things fold out underneath, so you can fold them out like that. There's nothing on the inside, though, which is a little disappointing. And here's Starscream in his massive UFO rocket ship looking type launcher. As you can see, Starscream himself kind of looks like that basic jet shape that you expect on a character like Starscream. However, his little extra inside thing, I'm not sure exactly what it's supposed to be. You have these little cannon things that I guess you can flip around if you want, but they don't really seem to serve much purpose. They're not very well defined, and they have holes, like maybe there's supposed to be something that goes in them, but there really isn't. Nothing folds out of the sides, nothing comes out of the bottom. These are the only really movable piece action feature to it, other than what all the launchers have, which is that spring-loaded launcher. There are 2 more launchers that come in the Bot Shots Battle Game Battle for the Matrix box set, but they are just redecos of the Optimus Prime and Megatron ones. So if you already have those launchers, buying this isn't going to give you anything new. But, you know, at least it's a different color, so you can pretend like it's something different, I guess, if you want to. But we'll talk about this box in a few minutes. One thing I really like about BotShots is that there's a wide array of characters available. Now, to be fair, a lot of times they just redeco a character and call him somebody else, and they do re-release a lot of the same character. There are several Bumblebees, Megatrons, Optimus Primes, etc. But, you know, that's what they do with the big toys, too. I just did a review of Wheeljack and Dead End last week that were the same character, just redecoed, although he had a new head. But still, let's take a look at some of these characters. There are 4 different versions of Optimus Prime, and they're all pretty much the same. They're the same truck, opens up into a robot. You got a lighter colored one, you got some darker ones, and then this one. Now you may be asking yourself, what's the deal with this guy? This translucent blue one is one of the Superbots. Within the cases, they have several characters that are made in these translucent colors and are called the Superbots versions of the BotShots. You know, they're not really... The stats on them are maybe a little bit better, but really what makes them super is just the fact that they have that translucent color. But as far as like their stats go, they're not that great. But still, it's really neat to see them in that translucent color, so, you know, hey, another one to collect. Now, those of you familiar with Optimus Prime are going to be familiar with Nemesis Prime. Now, Nemesis Prime is, of course, the same as Optimus Prime. All they did was mold him in darker colors, but otherwise he's the exact same figure. In fact, he even has the Autobot symbol as his hood ornament because that's part of Optimus Prime. But, you know, again, they do that all the time with the big toys as well, so not that shocking to see it here. Now, Megatron has 5 different versions. And this is the one from the Battle of the Matrix set, and he's got some funky little gold colorings on his. And as you can see, he is the tank. You've got the regular version of him. You've got the version that comes... let's see, no wait. This is the regular... I get him confused. That's the regular one. That's the one that comes with the launcher. This is the one that comes with the launcher in the Battle of the Matrix box set. So now you're looking, there are 2 more left. What's up with these guys? Well, here's another regular version of him, and as you can see, this one is a truck. So instead of being a tank, there's a version of Megatron that is the truck, that of course can stand off with Optimus Prime. And then there's the Superbot version of him, which is the translucent version of the truck. That one's a nice green color. Now, one thing you'll notice while I'm playing with them here is that they're very unwieldy sometimes. You try to pop them into vehicle mode, alt mode, and it's very difficult because the front is spring-loaded to make them work in the crash. And so if you're not careful when you're trying to piece them together, you can have a hard time snapping them into place and accidentally setting them off. But regardless, again, translucent version of him, really cool. It's in the truck mode instead of the tank mode, and Megatron's doing a little bit better than Optimus Prime because he's got another version out. Forget it. Now, Bumblebee is another character that comes with several different versions. Your standard Bumblebee that comes as a single figure comes with both blue windows and black windows, slightly different coloring, but otherwise the same. The Battle for the Matrix box set has another Bumblebee. Again, lighter color type of yellow, but still exactly the same. You've got the Superbot version of Bumblebee, which comes in the translucent orange instead of yellow. I'm not sure why. And then you've got this version of Bumblebee, which is the same body mold as the others, but this one actually has the battle visor on. So his face actually has that whole battle mask thing happening, while the others just have the regular, normal robot face. Again, reusing the same character, and Bumblebee is totally overdone in this line, just like he was in all the movie lines. Ironhide is another character here that gets a lot of love. You've got your standard version of him. You've got the version of him that comes with his launcher. And then you've got this Superbot version of him. This time his translucent color is black. Now I know what some of you are thinking, gee dirt, making him translucent black, doesn't that make it difficult to tell that he's a Superbot? Well, as a matter of fact, yes. It was kind of a stupid idea on their part, but they ran with it anyway. But what are you going to do? I got to collect them all. That's the Superbot. So there you go. Now, one of the characters I was actually surprised to see make it into the Bot Shots line is Sentinel Prime. And there's actually two versions of him. There's the regular version of Sentinel Prime, and then they made a Superbot version of him, this one in translucent red, that I actually like a lot. I think that character looks really cool in the translucent colors, and again, I was surprised to see him, and so I'm very happy to have him here. Shockwave here is another character I was kind of surprised to see in the line, but happy. He's got that futuristic tank type look to him, and he does sport the single eye face that we've all come to know and love. And then there's a Superbot version of him as well in translucent purple. Now this one, for whatever reason, has a hard time with his transformation. His springs have kind of stuck. He's not, rusted or anything, but for whatever reason, he kind of passed through quality control, and he probably shouldn't have. But if you smack him enough times, he'll pop up. Kind of makes him useless for the game, but he's a nice-looking figure. I like the translucent purple. Brawl is a character that comes in this dizzying array of colors. I'm not sure why he's in so many distinctly different color combinations, but you've got your regular Brawl that comes in the set. You've got this blue one, which comes as part of a 3-pack, and this green one, which comes in the Battle for the Matrix box set. I'm not sure why Brawl is so incredibly different. Maybe some of you guys who've been collecting Transformers forever know why they make such a rainbow coalition of Brawl, but sure enough, there he is. If you've got a favorite color of Brawl, then apparently they're looking out for you. Now here's a good example of them reusing the exact same mold, but to make two different characters. They made Barricade and Prowl. Now Barricade, black and white, kind of like your standard LAPD cop car. And then you've got Prowl, which has your white on top, black on bottom. As you can see, Barricade has the blue and red alternating lights, whereas Prowl just has red lights. When you fold them open, you can see that, again, they are exactly the same mold of figure, of character here, but they are colored differently. So he's all black, he's all white. They're reusing it, but it does look different because of the paint application, so I at least have to give them credit for that. And it does look like a pretty good mold in the car side. Now, before we get into all the airplanes, there are a bunch of cars that are only right now as one figure. They haven't been redecoed, they haven't been repurposed, they haven't changed some of the decoing on them, calling them a different character or anything like that. There's just one version of them out there. First up is Road Blaster. He's one of the newer ones, and again, I've got one that likes to get kind of stuck. Then we've got Mirage. He was one of the early releases of the characters, and everybody's favorite, Jazz. Now, Jazz, like I said, is a fan favorite. This is a character I, of course, loved as a kid growing up, knew him from the cartoon, everything else. So, seeing him here in tiny form, he actually looks pretty good. And he stands up well to some of his bigger counterpart toys. So, pretty happy to see him. Some more single vehicle characters here. One that I was surprised to see and very happy about is Lockdown. This guy, of course, was voiced by Lance Henriksen, so always happy to see him on there. Pretty good representation of him. Face sculpt looks fantastic on that. Then after him, we do have Top Spin. Top Spin's got that funky kind of green thing going to him, and lots of guns on top. He really stands out, but cool looking character. Leadfoot, another race car, bunch of guns on him. Very interesting looking head sculpt. Probably going to be hard to reuse him with somebody else, as far as I know. And then Ratchet. Good old buddy Ratchet. You guys remember Ratchet from the G1. Here he is. And again, pretty good representation if you remember the original character. It looks pretty good overall. Okay, now let's get into the airplanes. Let's start here with Starscream. You've got two versions of Starscream, and you can see here's the version that came with the launcher, and we talked about him a little bit earlier already. And then we've got one in the classic colors. You can see he's got the white with the red trim and the blue canopy. That's the version of Starscream that most people remember from the old days. And you can see he looks like a pretty good version of Starscream. I'm not sure how well the camera's picking up, but he does have a tiny little smirk on the side of his face there. And overall, I'm pretty happy with the way he looks, which is good because they reused him quite a bit. Now, one of the first super bots I ever got was Acid Storm. Acid Storm comes in this neon green, maybe trying to show that he's radioactive, I guess, whatever. But he is the same body as Starscream, and as a matter of fact, same face and everything. They just kind of redecoed him and added him to the list. Next up is Skyquake. Skyquake is green also, this time with a red canopy and a silver nose. But when you fold him out, you can see that again, it's the exact same sculpt as all the others. Next up, we have Thundercracker. Thundercracker is this time blue with red trim. He's got a yellow canopy, but he is, in fact, the same sculpt being used again. Same smirk on the side of his mouth and everything. And finally, we have Skywarp. Skywarp is black with purple accents and a gold canopy. Now, to be fair, it's the exact same body as all the others, but this time around, they did sculpt him a new head. Now, the helmet looks the same, but the face inside is actually grimacing instead of having the smirk. And his bodywork has a little bit more detail to it than the other figures. So, my guess is, in the next round of these figures, you're going to see a Starscream with a grimace. Maybe an Acid Storm with the grimace. Maybe a Thundercracker with the grimace. You see where I'm going with this? They made a new face on there, so now we get a whole new round of Jets next time around. But, you know, again, that's what they do with a lot of the big versions of the toys, so it's really no surprise that they do it with the little ones. It just feels a little excessive this time around with that Starscream mold. Okay, now we're back to just having two of the same molded character. This time, Powerglide. You've got the version of Powerglide that comes in a 3-pack, and then you've got the regular version of Powerglide that you find loose. Now, the one in the 3-pack does have more color to it. They added silver accents, which you don't have on the regular one. It just looks plain. But when you open it up, he does have a good look to him. Again, nice looking sculpt. And so, again, even though they've used him twice, basically looking the same, I do like the look of the character. And finally, we have Jetfire. Jetfire comes basically looking the same in both versions. It's the same mold. This one does have the red stripe and some different accents on the canopy and wings, and so that kind of sets them apart a little bit. And then in robot mode here, they do look almost exactly the same, except again, this one's got some red on the head, this one's got blue, all white, some red accents. Overall, they look almost exactly the same, and it is the same character. Just one comes in a 3-pack and one comes loose. So, you know, if you're not out to collect the entire line, you just like having the characters, at least it's nice that they put one in a 3-pack so you can pick them up with some other ones if you want them, or you can buy them singly. Now, let's go back to that Battle for the Matrix box set for just a moment. It comes with the redecoed version of Optimus Prime, which is very similar to the other launcher version of Optimus Prime, except this one's got a darker blue and he's got blue eyes. You've got the launcher redeco with Megatron. It looks kind of the same as the other one, except this one has bronze accents to it, where the other one is just very gray and kind of dull. You've got the green version of Barricade and the neon P version color looking there of Bumblebee. But what really sets this apart, what makes the Battle for the Matrix box set different? Well, it comes with a tiny little Matrix. Of course, it's just a little piece of corrugated cardboard that's printed on the front and they cut it out. But, I mean, hey, it's a Matrix, right? Now, there are no additional rules in the box on how to fight for the Matrix. There's, you know, nothing that says how many battles you have to do to get to the Matrix. They didn't really do anything special to talk about the fact that the Matrix is there, but they put a Matrix in the box. So that's cool, right? Right? Now, I know that collecting toys is a subjective experience. We all like different things for different reasons. Sometimes it's because it's a scale that we are familiar with. Sometimes we just like to collect certain characters, no matter what toy line they might be a part of. Sometimes we just buy them because we think, hey, that one guy looks cool, and why not? And then you buy one and you end up buying another one, and the next thing you know, you've started a collection. But as far as I'm concerned, you just buy what you like. Who cares if it doesn't conform to everything else that's a part of that toy line? If you like the scale, you like the colors, why not? Just buy one. So if you happen to like bot shots or you don't, whatever. That's on you. But just kind of keep in mind that it's not like this is the first time we've seen a change in the Transformers line, and it's probably not going to be the last.